again and again and again and again and again. I don't know if that was from some like '90s shit or somebody was on the radio back in the day, but I like it. It's smooth. Thank you for pulling up for Sutton Says. It's your boy Chief Sutt in the Mupka House. I've been getting some good feedback on the little app stores and little feedback things, and my statistics are pretty nice. So I appreciate you. If you're a previous listener, subscriber, or however you're listening, thank you, thank you. If you wrote a review or put 5 stars on Spotify or any of that stuff, triple dog, thank you. And if it's your first time pulling up, welcome. This one's gonna be fun. The other ones have been kind of like, also fun. But this one is just like not anything that I've worked on. It's just like something that I'm a fan of. And it's a pretty cool show. We don't have any sponsors yet, but this is the point in time where we would say shout outs to all the sponsors. I'm going to go ahead and just fill in public screen wise again because I had a couple of people hit me up saying, hey, that booch was pretty fire. You got to have your morning booches, like, your juicier ones that are a little bit more like chill maybe if you're already like getting after it. Or if you need a pick me up, you need the carrot ginger one I was talking about. Right now it's midday. I'm on salary with my current job, so like I'm doing this like while I'm still kind of on the clock. So I guess don't tell them, but I also already like scheduled a meeting and have started hitting all my dials, so they're not really gonna get that mad anyway. So shout outs to Public Greenwise Peach Kombucha. This is my midday booch, keeping me right up and tight, all that funky jazz. Before we get into these Stranger Things, but yeah. I really appreciated this season of Stranger Things. They have a couple of episodes coming out like in a week or two, I believe, and that's gonna like finalize the show. But what I found cool and what Sutton says the underlying message in the entire season so far is music is the answer for the depressed, the traumatized, the downtrodden, and they tied that in with a high level of cinematography and writing. They also managed to kind of squeeze in a little Nightmare of Elm Street vibe and tied all that in with the magic they were already developing in the seasons prior with the actors that they were developing and all the you've watched so much character development with all of these they're people now because like it was kind of weird with the production break they had to take. They're all like basically adults now. They're not kids, but when the show started, they were kids, and we've been riding with them for that long. Like gee shit, I felt like when I first like when the season came out and like I had to work that day, I was like, all right, as soon as I get off, I'm busting Stranger Things down. I gotta play at Ember tomorrow, but after I do that, it's Stranger Things. Actually, nah, it came out during Memorial Day weekend, so I skipped out on Sunset and was like, I'm not gonna go to Sunset. I'm gonna pull up at the boys playing the Boots and Cats party and say it was good to them. I had to play the night before at Eden, and as soon as I got off, I watched one episode and was like, oh my God, I gotta go to sleep before I don't go to sleep. And then I got up, murked the entire show before I went out that night. Was like, wow. And I've just been like kind of rewatching pieces and like getting myself back right before I recorded this. But it was just so awesome like the whole way through. And like you would think you know what was about to happen and they would kind of throw a little plot curve at you. And some of the times, yeah, you'd be right. And when I say you'd be right, I may be talking about you. I'm mostly talking about me. But the first time that I really was like, oh, it was the music was when Robin and Nancy went and actually visited Victor Creel, and he said he heard the angel, and that's what pulled him back. And when they started putting two and two together and doing the little riddle me thing, before Robin said it, like maybe 2 seconds before, I looked at Udonis, my dog, and said, "It was music, Bubba. It was music. It wasn't an angel he heard." And then it clicked with Robin. Robin's the goat. They figured it all out. But I really appreciated the writing and where they took everything. The misdirection with you thinking Elle was the one that like destroyed all these children and hospital workers and all this shit. They made you feel like she did it. She felt like she did it this whole walkthrough, even though everyone was telling her she's the GOAT and she's gonna save the world. And even if you don't believe in you, I'm willing to bet the fate of humanity that you're the one to save us. Like she couldn't believe that because she thought she did this ugly thing. They made it seem like she did this ugly thing. You feel like she did this ugly thing. Come to find out, blow, curve. So phenomenal curve. I'm gonna get more into that, but once again, thank you for pulling up for Sutton Says. I'm gonna dive into it. I want to start with talking about Max because that Dear Billy episode with Max was probably the best episode of the show overall. It show's not over yet, but holy shit. And it's, I mean, I would argue it's one of the best scenes in a show or a movie I've seen in the last 5 to 10 years. Like, you could line up a few movies and we could argue, like, shot for shot, scene for scene, and shit like that. But when you take into account, like, that quick little life flashing before her eyes moment that she had, and you see how long we've been riding with them, and the fucking Kate Bush is playing. Like, I'm getting chills thinking about it right now. I've rewatched it a million times. My girlfriend hasn't watched Stranger Things since season 2, and I was just like, baby, you just gotta watch this scene. This shit's fucking nuts. And I'm just sitting there getting chills and like tearing up because I'm like, oh, fucking Max. Like, it's okay. You're gonna be okay. Like, just get out. Nah, but that shit was fucking heavy. And the whole way leading up to it, you're used to Max being like, more of a tomboy, but her and Lucas had her thing, and she was still a little sweet little kid, super nice. And the whole vibe that season wasn't there. You could tell if you've ever been depressed or like been in any sort of like mental funk like that. Like, that's what was going on. She was lashing out. She was pushing everybody away. She was keeping to herself. Like, she was minding her business. Like, that's what Vecna was preying on. He was looking for people like that, and you saw it very, very fast right there in episode 1. It was ugly, but old girl had some stuff going on. Shit happens. Thankfully, Max had the team on it, and they were able to get her out of that. But that was just crazy, and it really put into perspective in like a 2-minute span that, like, damn, we've been around 10 years of these kids' lives, like 10 years of their cinematic lives, like, but still. And all those cutscenes, it's you've watched them develop, including Dustin, including Will, including all of them. Like, they're still them, and they've managed to keep them all them. But in that moment, you're like, damn, they can't lose one of them. Yeah, losing like Eddie was tough, or Billy, I'm sorry. But like, you can't take one of the main homies. You can't take Dustin. You just can't, they're untouchable. And Max almost felt like a character that wasn't on the same level as them. She wasn't as tight as them until this season, until that moment. And then you're really like, you know what? Fuck. Max is that dude. Like, that's my little nigga right there. I love her. Like, and yeah, so I'm glad they kept her out of it. And the way she was able to survive longer than some of the other people in the city, like Buddy that was riding with Nancy in the car that had that moment with his parents that was really ugly to look back at. He wasn't listening to music on that car ride. He wasn't listening to music when they were out in the forest. He was kind of just off in his own thoughts and letting his thoughts run away with him. And his thoughts weren't the healthiest thoughts to be having. He obviously wasn't talking about what he was thinking and like getting it out in a positive manner, like I'm doing with my podcast. But I obviously didn't have anything that, well, I'm not going to say obviously. I don't have anything that traumatic to where Vecna would be coming after me. Vecna will come into my dreams and go, oh shit, that nigga might get a little scared. So good luck with that, big dog. You let me know. And I kind of don't like calling him Vecna, because Vecna's the made-up name from their game, and they were really upset that everyone in the city was acting like they were a satanic cult because of their game. Stop calling him by that. He's number 1, because that's who he was. I don't know what his name was before that. You could call him Youngest Creel if you want, I guess, but fuck it. I guess I'm fucking nitpicking at that point, but either way, he had a really rough backstory, and Vecna tore his ass up. The twisting him like in the middle of the road, like hanging him up there and then just dropping him. After you saw that, like, that's the last thing you saw of his dad, like, that was full circle. That was full, like, twisted psychological, like, ooh, that was just ugly. And masterful writing, but like ugly. And it was Chrissy was the first girl, the one from episode 1, where you're like, whoa, she's seeing. At first, I thought she was pregnant when she came like crying out of the guidance counselor's shit, and then she was in the bathroom. It's like, I was like, okay, what, pregnant? Like, me sitting there once again with Beauty, thinking I know everything with my fucking hairnet, my bathrobe, just like, stupid. But nah, I was wrong as fuck. She was literally seeing a demon, and she really liked Eddie, and her man's was like a fucking tool, which is whatever. But Eddie was pretty chill, and he was also a musician, and that kind of could have been what drew Chrissy to him and like been, keeping her a chill space when she was with Eddie, because he was always bumping music or playing music or doing something about it. But she wasn't really putting two and two together that music was the way to help her get out of her depression. She just leaned into drugs, and she wanted to just get that out of Eddie. She was trying to mask it with the hallucinogenics, and same way Max was kind of trying to mask it with her. I don't know if she was just taking Advil for her headaches or whatever it was, but they were both just trying to medicate to avoid it. But still, either way, music was the key, and they were just kind of skipping on that. But it was kind of intense, the physical way in which Vecna kills people. I don't even say people, kids. This nigga was murking children out here, and it was more intense than anything in years past. And the timing of it obviously wasn't the finest, knowing that their opening couple scenes included a fuck ton of children murder, to the point that there was like a trigger warning before and shit like that. I didn't even know that till I was at Eden, and I was talking to somebody about how I was about to go watch it, and they were like, yeah, bro, they got that trigger warning before, so, just make sure you're, like, chilling. I'm like, what they gonna do? I'm even gonna ask. It's Stranger Things. I'm just gonna watch. And they murked a bunch of kids. I'm like, bro, I've been waiting for Order 66. Like, that don't faze me. But, neither here nor there. The way they killed was so violent. And, like, Chrissy off rip, the, like, broken arms and in the air, and then, like, gouging the eyeballs out. You're like, yo, like, they've had some, like, pretty nasty kills in here, but they're definitely up in the gore a little bit. And Billy's death the season before, when, like, the monster went through him and he sacrificed himself, that whole number, that was pretty, like, ugly, and that was pretty vicious. But, like, Vecna kills were almost on that level all the time, and they were still able to throw in their little 80s moments and their little corny jokes and finishing each other's sentences, that whole shit that South Park always makes fun of. They're out here following clues like Scooby-Doo and shit, but, like, they still just balanced that with some heavy violence. Like, I appreciate that. That shit was tight. And I don't know how they're going to close it out, but every episode felt like I was watching, like, a movie, essentially. And I got, like, not just the sound bar, but I got the little fucking tweeters that go with it. And I got these mounts so they sit, like, behind my couch and shit like that. So I have, like, true surround sound. They had that shit boosted with the Dolby digital audio in my 4K TV and shit. Like, bro, me and Yudi were fucking in it, dog. Fucking chilling. The production quality was so on point. So, like, they could have gotten away if, like, they had a little bit less violence and still kept it corny because it's Stranger Things and that's how shit was in the 80s or whatever. But nah, they didn't. They put their fucking checkbook on the table and fucking threw down. And I thought that was fire. But the flashbacks that Elle kept having was heavy. Like, I was making light of it, but, like, that shit was really intense. And you're like, whoa. This is the sweetest little pea. Like, her opening scenes when she's, like, super excited for everybody to, like, hang out and, oh, he's coming and you guys are gonna meet my boyfriend, you're gonna meet all my friends. Like, she was so fucking pumped. And you're just like, wow, that's my daughter. Like, if anybody, like, bothers Elle, I'm going to murder them myself. And I don't want to hear anything about it. And then you just see these flashbacks, and it's like, dude, what? And then they kept alluding and, like, trying to insinuate that, like, she was the one that did it, and they're making you feel like she did it. And it's like, whew. Even though Mike's kind of being a dick, like, he's not living in the same town, but they're still dating. He's obviously going through his little teenage angst and puberty, and this kid just pulled up. He's like 6'3". Fucking Will still got a goddamn bowl cut, looking like the kid from fucking motherfucking Coconut Head. But nah, I didn't even have that one written down. That was off the top of the dome. He really does look like Coconut Head with that fucking haircut, bro. That's whack as fuck. Fucking Mike's out here, like 6'2", bullying niggas. Like, I don't know. He should have been bullying niggas in the roller fucking rink, but I'll get to that later. But yeah, Elle's flashback, that was heavy, and you would think to see it in, like, maybe season 1, but, like, I don't know. They get a pass. Like, I don't know. The flashbacks that one was having, I guess I'll call him Vecna, but one at that point in time when he was like Eleven's help and he finally like revealed who he was. Uh, those were violent, and they still walked you to like where you needed to be. Every step of the way, they walked you to some violence and then where you needed to be. Same thing with L, violence, violence, and then essentially you come to find out it wasn't her that did it. She sent this man and created Vecna essentially, which is a problem, but she did it with good reason, and she did it because she is a good person. She is the little sweet pea that we all thought she was. Like she is not a monster that she thinks she is, and that other people think she is. And of course, it's the feds that thinks she is. And I'm sorry if there's any you federal officials listening to this, but you got and all these shows I watch, and a lot of the times, like you guys are just on at the wrong people. So sorry, but you guys should have left Elle alone. She's great, and my daughter. But yeah, you've watched her develop as an actress as well. Like as when she was like initial Elle, like she just kind of had to be like slightly different from the rest of the kids and like maybe a little socially awkward, but like they weren't asking her to like do too much. But like the way that they've had her pick up like that's not nice and like cuss words and like little phrases and little things, and then she calls back to him now that she's like basically about to go to college. Like it's really fucking sick to see. Like I've said it 100 times, but we really feel like those kids like grew up and we watched it. Like I didn't feel like I grew up with them because I'm older, but I feel like I watched them grow up. The Max scene really pushed that so hard with all the cutscenes and stuff, but you won't forget how vital of a character any of them are after that. Like that's the team, that's all of them. They all ride to the end. We're gonna see like where it goes, but I think maybe 11. It might be hard for her to find work after Stranger Things. Maybe not because of how much of an actress she could be. Maybe she's just really good at being 11. Maybe not. But everyone else, like Dustin, it's going to be hard to not be the kid from Stranger Things. Lucas might be able to slide because, you know, he was out here hitting buckets. Uh, Mike and Will, I mean, good luck. Like you're always going to be those kids, but you know, you never know. They could get jacked. They could I think Mike is like dropping rock albums or rock songs or something like that. I don't know if that was a troll or what that was, but we'll see. But Robin is definitely going to be able to get work whenever she wants. Steve's definitely going to be able to get work. He is great. Eddie's only been in here a season. He's definitely like he's still going to be typecasted. You know, if you always just need an '80s guy, he's fucking phenomenal. But Robin, Nancy, and Elle are probably the ones that'll be able to like not be typecasted and get after it. And it's pretty cool because they were developed there. I didn't even know till a couple of weeks ago, but fucking Robin's parents, like she is literally the child of Hollywood royalty, and her dad is literally Ethan Hawke. Like Uma Thurman, for some reason, out of all the people she could have reproduced with Ethan Hawke. She clearly didn't see The Purge that he was in or any of the other movies where he just dies like a hoe, but that messed me up when I found out about that. I'm still kind of messed up about it, but either way, I love Robin. I love Nancy. I think they'll both do some work. Hopper did the Black Widow movie, and he basically just played Hopper. But I'm excited to see him actually get back with the gang. I think when he pulls up, there's going to be some ass kicking going on. But things that I would say I disliked about the show is not very much, and this one's kind of a reach anyway. But Lucas's sister Erica, she almost ruined like everything at the most inopportune time. And I get it, you got to do that, you know, here and there, and like she serves a purpose, like being like the annoying little sister, but she's a little too annoying for me, and she pushes it sometimes, and like she's you could tone it down a little bit. I know she's probably gonna have like some huge role at the end, and like you know, it's gonna be a big Erica moment. It's gonna be really cool because she's always had like such a sassy attitude. But like I don't know, I'm over it, and I also don't think there was enough Will. The story was kind of all over the place. You literally have Hopper in like a Russian prison, and like people, like there was so much going on all over the place that I think Will has always been like, I mean, I believe in season one he was the main character, like, and he like I don't know, he hasn't gotten a lot of airtime. Him and Mike had like his weird little beef. Like, I would like to see a little bit more of him. And the Freddy Krueger guy, I think they're gonna do a little bit more of him. But I feel like I've already seen more of him, and there's been more of Victor Creel than Will. But I don't know. I want the full gang doing gang shit like we're accustomed to. Might be a little reach. I know it's coming. It's literally we got 2 episodes to close it out. I think the last episode's like 2.5 hours. So like we're gonna get some gang activity. But my only real major dislike that whole season was motherfucking Angela. I don't have any beef with kids. I don't have any kids. Like, shout outs to you if you have kids. Good shit. Like, teach them good stuff. But let them listen to my Dolphins podcast. That won't be censored out of the cuss words. I don't censor the cuss words out on this. This isn't for them. But if they want to learn about football and the Miami Dolphins, Day One Dolphins, wherever you get your podcasts. But I hate Angela. That child bothers me to no avail. When Elle was giving her presentation and she said Hopper was her hero and Angela thought shit was sweet and she was trying to roast, I almost jumped through the fucking TV. I'm like, leave her alone, you stupid bitch. Like, Hopper's that nigga. He saved the whole fucking world. Like, what are you talking about? And she just kept getting meaner and meaner. And then when Elle had her little moment, tried to use her powers, like adding fuel to the fire, just making it worse. And then that scene at the roller rink, you're just pushing it. Like, that's some fuck shit. You think you're gonna record it and get the DJ in on it and do this whole thing while my man's in town? Nah, Shen, you ain't about to pump me like that. I've literally destroyed interdimensional creatures. I ain't afraid of you. When she grabbed that fucking skate and said, Angela, I was like, yes. I honestly didn't think she was gonna turn around. I thought she was just gonna clack her right in the back of the head. But the fucking around the front of the face, like, oh, I felt the concussion. The fucking so satisfying. It shouldn't be satisfying to see a kid get hit in the face with a skate like that, but I've never seen someone deserve it so much. And Elle just put so much torque in it. Just Angela. I could watch that scene over and over again. Like, she should have beat her ass in class when she started smoking her about Hopper, thinking that shit was funny. Like, oh, I thought I needed to be a real hero. And then who the fuck is this teacher to sit here and try to co-sign with Angela too? Like, yo, fuck you, bitch. Send Angela's ass out. Have her go see me after class. Like, nah, bro. We ain't doing this bullying thing. Obviously, Elle's like not on the same wavelength as every other child in this classroom. Like, chill the fuck out. But hey, that's part of the writing. Once again, I take Eleven's treatment in this imaginary show very seriously, and I don't appreciate that teacher. She would be seeing me. I don't know how Winona Ryder isn't in there, but if she knew what was going on, she would fucking throw down. But I'm not editing out the parts where I sip the booch either. I'm honestly not going to edit these out at all. You guys are just going to get it raw until we get some sponsors. So if you got disposable income and you're trying to throw some advertisements in, we're getting about right now like 40-50 viewers a sode. So let me know. Them numbers is growing. We about to throw some money into marketing. But yeah, in conclusion, what a motherfucking show. I think Netflix might be trending in the wrong direction as it comes to a company. I think they're fucking up, but that doesn't matter. They threw all their eggs into this in the Squid Games basket, and I think it's paying off for them with Stranger Things at least. I'm seeing Stranger Things Doritos bags. I'm seeing Stranger Things literally everywhere. I know most people I know are at least like they've at least seen some of it, even if they haven't binged all of it. And I know the people that are like me or you that are probably listening to this, you fucking love it. So they got us, but I don't know what you're gonna do after. Just please do us a solid. Don't Game of Thrones me. Just finish this out with a nice little bow on it. Do me right. You don't have to force a spin-off. You could. I'm down. But you guys are gonna squeeze this dry probably, and probably Squid Games. I already saw like the live action Squid Games thing coming. I don't know what the scheme is with all of that, but I don't think they are going to pull a Game of Thrones and let everyone down. I think with a couple of episodes left to go, I'm honestly couldn't be more excited for the conclusion of it. I mean, it is going to be the end of it, but you can always go back and like re-binge it. But it's going to be sick. Like, they're not going to try to push it to like an 8 season, 9 season thing. Obviously, the kids aren't kids anymore, and they can't just keep trying to push the like in school innocence thing. They're like getting too big for that. You already have that like mildly creepy CGI trying to like do the flashbacks with Elle. Like, you gotta like call it. So I appreciate them calling it now and like going as hard as they are to close it. So like big ups to the fucking showrunners and everybody in there. But they got a bunch of questions to close. I mean, for one, I am kind of interested in the other basketball player that was getting toyed with by Vecna. What's gonna happen with him? Are they gonna be able to like get some sort of musical release to like pull him off? Is L just gonna pull up to the upside down and beat the shit out of Vecna 1-on-1? Cause like Free Smoke Fridays, like can they even get to Vecna in that manner? How is 11 gonna pull it off? Like, how is she gonna do it? Because we know she is. I fuck with my boy Argyle, the guy that drives the pizza truck. I have a feeling he's gonna pull some. He's gonna do something important just because he's so. I don't know. I don't know how to describe him. He's an odd character, but he somehow fits right in with the crew. Like, what is he gonna do? What is this man gonna do to like close the show out? He's already like picked up the love of his life. He's already pulled the boys out of like a really dire situation. Like, I ride with Argyle. Like, they threw him in last minute. He's obviously gonna have to do something pretty important. Way more important than that is how much fucking ass Hopper's about to kick when he gets back. Because you guys think you're going to be out here picking on L and doing all this other shit, and like, I'm not. It's going to be a wrap. And I didn't realize they didn't tell the kids where they were going when they went to go pick up Hopper. So they've been off gallivanting, doing all this shit, trying to cover for Eddie and digging to Vecna and save Max. They have no idea that Mom's been gone, and Hopper's about to pull back up. So that's going to be tight. Like I said, I think there's only like literally 2 episodes, I believe, for this last volume, and the finale itself's like 2.5 hours. Some other stuff, if you wanted to dive in, if you fuck with Stranger Things, look up Severance. It's on Apple TV. It's super like sci-fi, brainy, thinky shit. It's actually produced by Ben Stiller, like Ben Stiller. But if you fuck with Stranger Things, you might fuck with that. I fucked with it heavy, and a couple of other homies like do too. Obviously, American Horror Story. I mean, you can ask me which seasons or comment your favorite ones in the comments if I put this on YouTube or in the reviews or on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. No, well, I don't know if I'm on Facebook like that anymore, but all those other social platforms, TikTok, all that, at Chief, CHIEFSUTT. That I before E shit beats people's ass on a daily basis. But yeah, talking American Horror Story, Coven is my shit personally. I also fucked with 1984. If you like this, you probably like that 1984 season because it's a lot of the same vibes. And then Alice in Borderlands, if you're fucking with the violence and just like the overall like misdirection and intensity, Alice in Borderlands, I believe it's Korean, but super fucking fire. Also on Netflix. It's kind of similar to Battle Royale. That one's just super bloody. Like, literally, I don't know if you've ever read the book Most Dangerous Game, but along that same lines of like hunting people and going after people for sport. That whole concept, which I'm a fan of. I don't want to be hunted, but I think hunting people would be cooler than hunting animals because you could give them a fair chance, you know, like at least like a little bit more. But either way, that's a whole that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother podcast, and I might lose some supporters because of that. No, I'm just playing. I'm not worried about losing supporters. All I'm worried about is talking about cool shit and giving people something else to listen to. Besides that normal, old, rinky-dinky, clickbaity, spammy, regurgitated nonsense, I like pretty much everything I'm saying is like either off the top of the dome or just like some notes I've taken along the lines. And yeah, I'll look up what other people's opinions are on the show and like other shit. Basically, every article that you read says, "Oh yeah, Stranger Things was like phenomenal, but you know the plot just kind of jumped all over the place." Well, no fucking duh, dude. They had a lot of ground to fucking cover, and they like covered it. So I don't think that's a fair assessment. And whatever, there was a lot of ground to cover, and it was covered. So people love to just reach and hate. I'm just trying to give a fresh perspective on whatever I feel like talking about. Some other topics that I have in the queue. I want to talk, since I let people like these shows. I like talking about The Boys. When that one finishes up, I'll probably do a quick one on that. I got a couple of homies that want to come on and just talk about crazy coworker stuff. People really enjoyed the local DJ episode, so I have a couple of guests from this city and some other cities that I'm gonna bring on. I'm gonna talk about some fraternity stories and like SAE shit, Phi Alpha Bros, being vegan, door to door stories. I'll actually probably do the door to door stories next. If you have one that you prefer, let me know. But yeah, shout outs to you. Appreciate the love, appreciate the feedback, appreciate the 5 stars. Sutton says, have a good rest of your day, week, weekend, night, morning, whatever you was having. That's only in the morning. Peace.